Hey there. I wanted to share a little bit about generalism and specialism in pollination interactions. Some pollinators specialize, which means they predominantly visit one type of flower. One example is midge flies, which are considered important pollinators of cacao, which is used to produce chocolate. Some would actually not consider this to be an example of complete specialization, though, because there are several species of midge fly that can pollinate cacao, not just one species, and also certain midge flies may visit flowers other than cacao. Generally, though, when just one or a few pollinators are responsible for most or all visits to a specific flower, that can lead to coevolution through time, which can, in turn, develop flower parts that match pollinator morphology. This is a flower from Madagascar that has a spur with a nectar at the bottom that is over 10 inches long. When Charles Darwin first observed this flower, he predicted that there must be a pollinating moth with a long compatible proboscis to reach the nectary. Nearly 2 decades after Darwin's death, the moth was finally discovered, and it was indeed found to have a proboscis that can extend to 14 inches. While this is an incredible example of specialization and coevolution, it is important to understand that most pollination interactions are more generalized. An example of the generalist lifestyle can be seen in the common eastern bumblebee, which visits a variety of different flowers, including eggplant, sunflowers, tomatoes, clover, and more. On the plant end, an example of a generalist is purple coneflower, or echinacea, which attracts skippers and other butterflies, as well as a variety of native bees, including bumblebees. Generalism can contribute to resilience in ecological systems. For instance, if a flower becomes less common or is lost, generalist pollinators can visit other flowers. And the same is the case for flowers. If a pollinator is lost, other pollinators can fill that role. However, there can also be evolutionary selection for specialism in flowers, because having just one pollinator ensures that only conspecific pollen, which is pollen from the same flower species, is being transported. Deposition of heterospecific pollen, which is pollen from a different plant species, can clog the stigma of a receptive flower and make fertilization less likely. So, there are pros and cons of both the generalist and specialist lifestyle for plants and pollinators. And this plays out in different ways over the evolutionary lifespan of the species, which can occur over hundreds of thousands of years.